be it would be best that we start as the others find us on the way.
Yeah, it's okay. Hi everyone. So I'll just give us I'll help us open up. Thank you, Dominic, for joining on time.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you to
Sure thing.
everyone who is already here. Thank you so much for keeping your time. As we wait for more people to join in, I wanted people to use the comment section to quickly let us know where they are calling us from. I'm Atwini Sabrina from Next Communications, and we are excited to partner with Cerfodes for the state of the digital economy, which I will break down in a few. But as we wait to get to know the details of what Dominic is going to share with us on the topic, I would like us today's webinar, and also maybe just tell us your name and where you are. I would say calling in from, but maybe where you are hearing in from or joining us from. If it's from Kavale, let us know. If it's from Kampala, Masaka, let us know. Yeah, so let's do that as we wait for more people to join in. And then we'll get started in about 5 minutes. But yeah, as we get people to like give their introductions, basically what you need to know about the state of the digital economy, it's a product or a special project under Next Communications, which is one of Next Media's many brands. So at Next Communications, what we do, we've mastered the art of digital from the perspective of, brand awareness, authentic storytelling, on the internet, different digital marketing strategies. So we utilize these to help our customers connect with their audiences. Yeah, so we do this in so many ways. We do it through influencer marketing, content marketing, and so many other things. So we are really, really happy to be the champion, the ones championing the state of the digital economy, where we are doing sort of like a check to see as a nation, where are we? And we are moving with a theme, making the digital economy work for all. Yeah, so today, apart from us, having that conversation, which will mainly, where we will mainly get into the depth of it at the actual event, which is happening on the 26th of September this month at Next Media, where we will have different stakeholders discussing issues around cybersecurity, around infrastructure, where we have broadband, we have devices, we have accessibility, we have internet, as well as human capital. What skills do we need to thrive in a digital economy, among so many things. And we're working with different partners, commercial banks, government, SMEs, startups, fintechs, telecoms, and so many others. Yeah, so we are really, really excited for what we are going to unfold on that day. But for today, our focus is not just discussing technology. For today, we are looking at how we can have a fundamental shift in the global digital landscape, because for too long, developing nations have been seen as mere recipients or consumers of technology, including artificial intelligence. So now for today, with the discussion we are having with Cerfodes, which by the way is hosting one of the biggest AI conferences in Uganda, and Next Communications is its official digital marketer for the conference. So if you follow our pages or go on your social platforms and type in game conference, you will get access to all the opportunities coming with it. So we are going to have global AI speakers coming in from like over 180 countries just here at just here in Uganda, Kampala, and Dominic will get into the details of that. And if you are a startup, they are giving away about 75,000 USD for people who participate in the startup battlefield. And this money is equity free and you register for free. So I really call upon all of you to go and check the handles. If you check even just Next Media accounts, you're going to find some of the comms there. If you want to volunteer at the conference, there's also a link that we are running for that. So there's really so much more to do what to unlock. Yeah, so let me see how many people we have now. Yeah, I see we have a good number. Yes, so that is some of the things that we are excited to unlock with you. So our mission today, like I said, we are going to mainly see how we can unpack how Africa and other developing regions can move slowly from simply adopting AI, because for now, all we do is utilize ChatGPT, use Gemini, use Mid Journey to like generate images and everything. But how can we remove from just being, consumers and actually get into, shaping, being the actual innovators, being the actual developers? So we have a very interesting expert who we have here on the call, and I don't want to take much of our time. I will be welcoming him in a bit to speak for himself. So thank you, everyone. Let's keep bringing in our names, who we are, where we come from, what we do, and what we expect from the session. And then without wasting time, I'll just hand over the microphone to Dominic, and once again, thanks Cerfodes for joining us and for bringing Game Conference to Uganda. Over to you, Dominic.
Sabrina, before we hand over the mic to Dominic, sorry to interrupt. I think we should have some housekeeping rules. Please keep your mics on mute. And if you have any question, please put it in the chat box. We'll get to all the questions later after the presentation. So over to you, Dominic.
Okay, much appreciated, Sabrina and McLean, on the introduction. Thank you to each and everyone who has managed to make it here. One of my counterparts is Praveen Kumar, who will be also presenting a bit on the technical side. But my name is Dominique Nere, Director and Secretary at Cerfodes. And most of the discussion we are going to have is something that has been pushed out before, and articles are written on this. You can find them on the digital agenda, something.org, something like that. Though for today, my introduction is mainly going to start with the simple side, then we can gravitate towards the heavily technical aspect. So I'll give Praveen, the floor to introduce himself, and then we can start from there. Praveen?
Yes, so good evening, everyone. First, it's an honor to be with such talented people, and I'm very eager and interested to have a conversation with you people.
Okay, thank you very
And
much. Now, for starters, AI is a topic, but without heavy understanding of what are we talking about. AI is looked at as ChatGPT, cloud, perplexity, but that is not heavily what AI is. It's something that is bigger than what is communicated and what is heavily put up front.
Since you guys are going to be
Just
talking, so I can just stay here as I.
Duncan, you can help us mute your mic if you don't mind. Thank you. As I was saying, that AI is not just a word, rather a technological advancement, just as the invention of the wheel. Humanity's rigorous stubbornness to invent and try and simplify our life experience on this earth has led us to this technology, which is meant to then unravel better standards of living and then impact social, political, and economical aspects. So, what are the biggest takeaways that someone who is here for today, more or less in the white collar or a freelancer, because this is the technology that is heavily trying to simplify the amount of time someone takes carrying on a task. So I would start with some of the new roles that have been created by this technology, just as the .com era itself led into website development, blogs. Right now, we are in social media marketing and all those aspects. AI comes with certain new jobs that actually you can do as a freelancer or you can do full time. There is something known as prompt engineering, something also known as AI content, being an AI content editor. I'll get into the details. An AI media creator, an AI chatbot developer, an AI consultant or solution strategist, and an AI data trainer. Now, you can either be doing these roles full time or you can either be doing these roles as a freelancer. Of course, all of these you can still find on platforms that are open for anyone to interact and find work to do. Now, these platforms, these are like Fiverr, Upwork, even LinkedIn as well, alone could get you a job. Because now, as an AI prompt engineer, your role will mainly be to design, iterate prompts, and for each and every individual right now that is joining this space, understands that prompts define the output of the technology. For an AI content editor, this is where more or less you use artificial intelligence to generate the content, but then put the human touch to it. You polish the AI generated content and you align it with the human narrative. Now, this can remove the techie aspect to it. This is where you look at like ChatGPT and then Cloud having different initiatives. Whereas Cloud focuses on nature, more or less relatability to human speech. Chat focuses on intellect. Now, for an AI media creator, you're looking at Mid Journey, you're looking at VO, Flow, even ChatGPT itself. You can create images, logos, more or less designs. You can use some of these tools are there. For chatbots, these you've seen building chatbots from scratch, but heavily the role falls under conversational design. It's so easy to create a chatbot. It's another to understand how to engineer a conversational flow so that the system does not crash. For AI consultancy and strategy uptake, it's more or less how you reach out to companies and lay out their technological uptake strategy of artificial intelligence. For AI data trainer, of course, this is where it's a bit much more technical, but then for someone who is not heavily technical, you could look at AI prompt engineering, or you could look at AI content editing, more or less being a media creator. But then all these roles combined have both technical tools and non-technical tools that lead to someone still to earn something. So this is real-time impact of this technology in the white collar domain, not only in one role, but do you understand what the technology is and how to use it? Because the person that is a prompt engineer is the one that makes sure that actually the prompt you put in is structured well so that the system can give a better output. Now, of course, in terms of what are the results, as previously stated during the space, this eliminates any boundaries in terms of geographical location. Because if you have Upwork, all these freelancing aspects, it means that you could be someone in Uganda, but then having clients from Australia. Now, of course, these are mainly, I'm trying to start non-technical before you go to the technical aspect. Some of the limiting factors this side is rely heavily on external developed technologies, which are actually not heavily built customarily for our market. But then, based on the discussion we're going to follow afterwards, that will better discuss how to align some of this technology to our initiatives as Africa. Of course, in how is AI impacting the white collar aspect, that alone goes back to what I've shown in terms of the jobs it has created. It has created a new domain of jobs. Whenever a technology creates or forces individuals to bend their knee to it, it means that it's a technology that is here to stay and you have to embrace it and learn how to work with it. For starters, we could look at social media, whereby social media moved from just posting pictures to now being a business center. Everyone is posting on TikTok about their business and so forth. So that alone shows you that TikTok has the impact on how marketing is done and what is behind TikTok, AI, algorithms that understand and take in the data points whenever you are tapping your screen, liking, commenting, and all those things. Those are all data points. How do they end up impacting the white collar aspect? It means that in the office, you're going to have to learn to work with tools, just like how you use QuickBooks, just like how you use Microsoft Suite. There is no differentiation, but rather it's an understanding of how do I work with these technologies to improve my productivity and deliver results that are of quality and meet the world stage and standard, which results into eliminating geographical barriers of someone saying, I'm in Africa, Koboko, somewhere there, but then I can't find a job. Previously, I did show the freelancing options where you can go and do some of these tasks. You can learn them, of course, as we move forward. So now that is the introductory part. But then now I'm going to go a bit to the real technical aspect to which I believe each and every individual who is here so far has gained the value. Yes. Now, for starters, what is AI? AI is basically software, intelligent software. Each and every individual who's here has interacted with this technology and has liked how it results into action. But then, if you look at the statistics of ChatGPT utilization in Uganda, Perplexity, or any of these companies, you're going to find out that most of a huge chunk, it looks like $20, but
Hi,
those $20, yeah.
Dominic. Just give me a second to put this across as you continue. So people were asking where they can follow the game conference, the AI conference that will be hosted by Cerfodes. So I'm going to be adding the links to the game conference social platforms where you can find all the opportunities. So the people joining in on the call, please check the comment section and use the links to follow the different digital platforms for the conference. Thank you so much. Back to you, Dominic.
No worries. Much appreciated for that, Sabrina. So back to the point, if you look at the statistics of the utilization of ChatGPT alone, a company that skyrocketed in a month to $1 billion in terms of valuation, that alone should be something that tells you that this is a company that builds technology that impacts the whole world. It's not technology that impacts America. It's not technology that impacts Silicon Valley. But it is technology that impacts the whole world and puts us all in the same lane. How do we use it effectively is what matters. In terms of policy, it does do apply, because how you train these models determines the output they are going to put out in terms of bias, causes. Yeah. But not to waste time, most of the biggest traditional barriers we have in Africa is, we are going to say, infrastructure limitations, data scarcity, and then expertise, having knowledge limit. But yet, all this information is freely available, and there is no excuse of saying that we can't participate in this race. Participating in this race means that companies looking to simplify customer service aspects could then have general questions answered by systems that are more fluid and intelligent to understand the tonality of an individual and then reciprocate with the right feedback and response and direct them accordingly. Whereas where situations that require escalation to human individuals, that is when the human comes into the loop. We need to also remember that AI is divided into 3 segments. What AI can do 100%, what AI can do 50%, what AI can do not. Understanding those 3 core principles determines how you venture into the technology and build a solution that provides benefit globally to the white collar or even the non-white collar. So as of current, Africa is heavily left out of the digital map. This is, of course, basing on connectivity, infrastructure, and then data scarcity, I would say, would not be mainly an issue, as you on TikTok, Instagram, and any social media platform you use, YouTube is able to understand and customize delivery to you. So there are certain techniques that make it capable for even an individual to actually become the new OpenAI, Perplexity, or Cloud. And these techniques we have like PEFT, we have quantization, though, of course, this is QLoRa, which is low rank adapters, open source models. We have also on the simplified alignment, DPO. For PEFT, you're looking at, yes, I don't have the money to spend $100,000 or 1.5 million that DeepSeek so far what shook everyone's attention did. You have possibly, let me say, $1,500 or even $500. You could use any of these options here to build a domain specific model. Now, what is a domain specific model? A domain specific model is mainly a model you build to do a specific task. Some of you have interacted with Manus AI, you've given it a task to accomplish and it has accomplished it, but they're not to perfect. Some of you have worked with AI agents on ChatGPT, that agent aspect. Some of you have worked with Cloud, all these things you've worked with. But then all of these technologies are heavily built for the global market that we don't fit in yet well. The question would be, why would someone need to own their own model? Why would I need to spend $100 to train a model of mine? Why would I need to go through quantization and all these aspects? The point is, look at a company that wants to simplify work for its employees. It wants to simplify communications or even internal aspects, tracking of records, analytics. All that integration into an ecosystem forces you to bend your knee to building your own custom model. In using cloud solutions, of course, different individuals have issues with data privacy. So this is where this comes. Now, to break down this into a simple roadmap, you start with open source models which are openly available. You can download it on your PC, and then parameter fine tune it. PEFT is a way of actually like doing neurosurgery on a model, whereby you insert a smaller amount of information into a brain. I want you to imagine you are inserting a Neuralink into your brain, and that Neuralink comes with more information. It costs as low as $100 to achieve. So you don't need to start from zero. You could get a 70 billion parameter model, because the bigger the model, the better the results. But then, do you have the financial muscle? Possibly not. You could take the route of PEFT, and PEFT is divided into different methodologies. Some of these are LoRa, where this is the neurosurgery you are operating on the model. I'll demonstrate this somehow, but for quantized LoRa is more or less you are trying to make the model runnable on a smaller device. So device limitation is not an issue. For DPO or simplified alignment, this is where actually you get the model to talk in the way you believe you want it to talk. Now, that is a bit of the introduction. But then we have layers that we will have to go through to achieve this. This is either on a company aspect, a startup, because at the end of the day, it might seem like, why do I need to own my own model as a company? But then if you look at what does ChatGPT simplify for you, this alone tells you that a solution to a problem exists within there. For startups looking to build solutions to fit a narrative. Imagine you could build let me say, a tool that could help someone shop on Jumia in Uganda. Why are we forcing ourselves to, basing on the literacy levels, basing on the having a technology like Sunbird AI, which is focusing on building local models, means that developers have access to a technology whereby you are not now building the model, you are actually just integrating the model into your application, which results into a better improved user experience. Now, to achieve that journey, you would see yourself starting from all these foundational pillars that make sure each individual has AI. Layer one is more or less the one that is a bit technical. Layer two a bit simplified. Layer three a bit more simplified. The more you go above the next, the more life becomes a bit easier. So I'm taking a little time, but then I'm going to try and rush through so that my counterpart can come in also. So the best level is more or less starting from nothing to something, but it's a way of getting an already existing model and making sure that you make it, you align it or you teach it information that it doesn't know. I want you to imagine this model or this, a model is basically, imagine like someone has given you software on a flash. That is how you can consider a model. Different models take different space. Now, the traditional route would require you more or less minimum $100. You're looking at expertise, you're looking at hardware, you're looking at more or less either if you're using locally hardware or you're using cloud based aspects. But then this is where you start from. You have to train the model. This is where you do the neurosurgery. And if I had to spend $150 as compared to spending $100,000, I believe I'm at 1.5% expenditure. Basing on the size of model you're working with, it determines the cost. At this point, we align the model with a task or a domain. We train the model, and this training actually only, you have a bunch of data, which can be PDFs and stuff like that, textual content that you can work with, though it can go beyond that. And basically, you train a model at a very low cost. PEFT is a solution to financial constraint. Now, the PEFLORA that I'm trying to get in terms with here is more or less set up in a sense that we are only working on a subsection of the brain and inserting in our information without affecting the other information. So basically, it is like neurosurgery, but then you can look at it as putting a neural link in your head. The way it would work here in the corner is you could add an adapter. We call them adapters. It depends. Now, this is stacked adapters, where that section that you've dissected of the brain can focus on agriculture, one can focus on healthcare, one can focus on legal, one can focus on education. Now, all of this is at a low cost. without you having to go through the real hustle of building a model from scratch. The next layer, of course, is more or less the alignment, trying to make sure that the model gives out effective, better responses to an individual. Because once these models are trained, just like a baby that is born, genetically they have information of the mother and the father, but then you need to groom the child. This is where these techniques come in. PPO was a bit primitive, but required a lot of computational power. We gravitated into DPO and then the GRPO that made Manes the talk of the world. But where is all of this leading to? Lower computational cost, ease of working with the technology, because whenever technology is being developed or whenever a technology is new, sometimes it's not too optimized for the end user. The other layer that follows that, the fourth layer, is more or less on how we deploy now these systems after, just like a human being. When you have gone through school and learned and graduated, you move on to work. Now, in work, there are certain tools you need to learn to work with. That is, if you didn't know how to work with them. Because as technology is released, it forces the workforce to bend towards utilizing such technologies. For example, this generation right now, starting from 2020, more or less going further, will interact with AI. The children born will find AI and won't find it primitive. So this is usually where we end up. You have a local model like MISPRO 7B. You fine tune it using PEFT. You DPO align it. And then now the next issue that comes up is more or less working with context length. Now, this is the level whereby the model is publicly available. But then sometimes, let me say you've given ChatGPT certain documents, 15 documents. You think it's going to know all those things. It's not. Because the context window of it limits its scope. Now, there are techniques around this section which you can look into: ring alignment, or if you don't look into ring alignment, coming back to the smart deployment level, you can look at RAG. With RAG, you are the President kindly bless us and mute. Going back, President kindly bless us and mute. Thank you. Going back to the smart deployment level, here you're looking at how your system you've built is now integrated into the world.
Bahai Road. Bahai Road. Bahai Road. Koma wawe nini? Kaya Road. Kaya Road. Kaya Road. Kumbire police. Kumbire police. Okay. Okay,
I don't
we
know
go.
whether someone could mute Okay, I'll go on, and the meeting is recorded. You can get it. Back to the point. During the deployment phase, this is where you are looking at your model interacting with human beings and making sure that it gives the right feedback. You can integrate RAG, which is more or less connecting with a vector database and inputting in chunks of documents. But then that alone has proven inconsistencies in results. This is where GPTs were released by OpenAI a while back, and then they were not giving perfect information. Now, here at this point and level, you're integrating your system with other subsystems to make sure that your AI model now becomes agentic. It's no longer just a chatting model, it's a model that is chatting and also takes on action. To make sure that all the previous sections, of course, still apply to improve these models and make sure that they give effective results. But this is the most critical section. And some of the techniques used is rather than working with a vector database, that not to get too technical, you would work with a knowledge graph, which at least gives more relatability in information. Now, before actually beyond this layer alone, I would like to give the floor to Praveen to then at least use 12 minutes to air the much more detailed technical aspects. Praveen? Okay, I guess Praveen is disconnected. So if we come back to this section of
Hello,
efficient alignment,
sir.
yes, Praveen, are you in
Yeah, yes, sir.
alignment?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So I hope everyone can hear me clearly.
yes, they can hear you.
Yes. So now we can see in detail about the efficient alignment. So first of all here, uh, so about
Okay,
the topics. Yeah.
I'll take it from there, but more or less what I can say, the key aspect in all this journey is the alignment of the model to make sure that the information it puts out is accurate and the end user does not get the wrong information, because at this stage you are preventing something known as prompt injection. In prompt injection, someone could, let me say, usually individuals create applications with ChatGPT as a just applications which are wrappers around ChatGPT, the API, or Cloud, or any of these whatnots. But then the loophole they leave themselves with is prompt injection, whereby now an individual can put a virus in your system, and the fact that you've only looked at creating a prompt, customize your application and put it out there as a startup or as an individual building with this technology, this can result into a failed system. Now, how do you prevent prompt injection? You look into libraries like Instructor, library, to make sure that the system filters out what information it is receiving from the user. When we gravitate towards the startups, this means that you have the ability to improve the user experience within your application. Because AI is not something new. AI is how you end up with Google Analytics. It's how you end up with like, unlike, comment. All those are data points that can be collected and used to build a system. With parameter efficient fine tuning, which results into quantized LoRa, enables you to run a model on your PC locally and get efficient results. Now, there are libraries which are known as, you can look at Olama, whereby I didn't add some of these things not to make the presentation long because it's like a few minutes. The benefit that comes with building a locally customized model in Uganda, Lusoga, Luchiga, whatnot, and any other aspect, it means that you're going to end up with a code editor that learning coding won't be a necessity. Rather, learning how to prompt becomes the key point. Learning how to structure your prompts. For the gig economy, it's you can create. Last time I said you can create a digital marketing agency under your bed or within your bedroom whatsoever without having to put in too much input. And how this comes about is you can start by understanding the information you get through Google Analytics. Use VO to create videos that speak towards that light, or even just use Midjourney to create product flyers, something like that. So the dynamics are shifting from the skill set to quality. How are you delivering quality in terms of your status as an individual? Because now, if you're able to output the same quality and standard as someone who is in Australia, Geneva, wherever, it means that globally we are now connected. How does that impact the educational line? Is the education system aligned to make sure that the technology that is already impacting the white collar and children who are being born who are going to find such technology around and work with it and grow with it won't experience the same level of interaction with technology that was previously experienced by different individuals? In the next 10 minutes, I would like to take some questions. And Praveen will come in. Thank you. Okay. I can't see any questions in the. I can't see any questions anywhere, but
If you, Dominic, maybe if you have any questions, you could just raise your hand up, and we can pick it up from there, and then we can answer your question. So let's just give them a few seconds to put their hands up and send some questions in the comment section.
okay, much appreciated. Thank you. How does this tie back to game? And what is game? And why is game doing this? Game is giving a fighting chance. Game is giving you the opportunity to build a solution to a problem that you think it is hard to get. But then if you are, let me say, like a startup or a practitioner or a white collar individual, basically look at how your work process is and how fast you think AI could help you get results. How do you achieve this? using a first principles approach whereby you break down your operational work, understanding it, and then looking at certain segments of your work operation and applying the other three principles I said. What can AI do 100%? What can AI do 50%? What can AI not do? Because it is just a tool, it is just a technological tool. But then the one driving, just as they say, the one with the access to the launch codes determines diplomacy. This is the same thing. So it is not a doomsday theory, rather, it is a tool you understand how to apply and get efficient results in a shorter period of time, making sure that you have a better working methodology. When a lot of work is taken off of your plate, socially, you grow. I don't know, like those things there, that part, but either way. Are there any questions? Okay. So at game, more or less, the opportunity is for you to see how you can compete on a global level, in the sense that you are not building just for the sense of having AI in your application, a chatbot, but rather you're integrating artificial intelligence into your systems, your work protocols, to simplify and cut out the inefficiencies, at the same time deliver results, and then optimize on time, which results into a financial gain whereby operational costs are cut, but then also betterment of life. So I've given this in both sides of corporate world, the gig economy, and I would say that is currently the state of the digital economy. Thank you.
Hi, Dominic. I have a question. How does one find a balance between your own creativity, but then also using AI? So if I am writing a letter, how do I find a balance between using my own letter writing knowledge, but then also appreciating AI, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and everything in between? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. What I can say, it starts from understanding yourself and then understanding the system. ChatGPT is meant and trained, or for the ones who use free or any other ones, there is an opportunity for you to actually train the model. So, based on the conversations you have with the system understands and learns you. You can go to settings and then find something like code memory that enables the system to more or less understand how to engage with you as an individual. So, what is your work methodology? What can you do best? If you're a writer, yes, you can start by writing a lot or breaking down what you're going to write about. Use the system to do the research, factual research that is backed. Use the system then to understand the research that you are going to write towards, but then vet through what the system gives you. Now, this is in terms of creativity on the side of writing, let me say articles, but the procedure is different for someone who is going to use AI to generate designs. Because with designs, it still attaches to writing an article. The system is going to generate any content you want. It will do for you the research. It will create, make it professional and whatnot and all those things. But it is just a pattern matching system. Your job as a human being is then to align what the system has given you into what gives what the output, that human touch. Going back to the three principles of what can AI do? What can't AI do? AI is just, or your chat GDP or your perplexity, they are just pattern matching technologies, basically. It will find the information, match it with what you want, and generate. You, as the human being, your task and role is to make sure that you filter and vet. Use that framework to better your output, because during the prompting phase, the initial phase, when you're telling, let me say you're putting in your prompt, I want you to do this and this and this, that is where, as the creator, you are guiding the system to what output you want. But then, as it outputs that output, you vet it and improve it into what you expect, that world class standard aspect. And then you apply the human touch. But though at the same time, you could still use this to brainstorm. The previous version was for the lazy people, brainstorming. As a creative individual, what is ChatGPT helping you do? Talk and get action. It's no longer keyboard, type the keyboard. For those of you that might have seen the Microsoft new PC, which comes embedded with the GPU more or less, or their copilot on it, that will keep track of everything you literally do on the computer. This means that we are gravitating towards voice command and text. But the more we gravitate towards voice command, text dies away. As a creator, this gives you the opportunity to speak out your creativity. And the system basically puts everything in line and it helps you clear out the noise. It's one thing to just have an idea, it's another to actually put it into implementation. That journey is simplified for you in that you no longer have to go to Chrome or Google, do a bunch of searches, but rather you get information straight to you. If you're getting information straight to you in that situation, it means that if websites are put up, the new search is no longer going to a website. The new search is using chat, is using perplexity and whatnot. So how efficient have you made sure that your corporate website has the right meta tags? Long story, but either way, I think I've answered the part of how creators can use AI. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a hand up by let me just get the name, Serunkuma Bruno. So Bruno, if you could unmute yourself and quickly drop in your question and we move forward, because we have 1 minute to the top of the hour and we need to be wrapping this conversation up. So Bruno, over to you.
Thank you, Maclean. Thank you, Dominic, for these insights. Such eye-opening insights. Now, my question, let me just, I had a lot of, a couple of them, but let me just focus on one. Since Africa is kind of catching up at the moment, though kind of early on, other than the computing journey, the computer journey through the generations we've had, you talked of data and the computing power needed. And I would like to pick your knowledge on how Africa can utilize because we don't have that much computing power. Do you see Africa building its own computing power, or should we focus and only stay with what we are being fed? I'm talking of the models, because to me, that is what I'm looking at. How can we build something that is ours, that is relevant to Africa as we know it, other than focusing on only what is being produced by the white man? Can we have something that we can, call our own?
Thank you very
Thank
much for
you.
that question. I would specify and more or less go back to the company I said, Sunbird AI. They are championing an initiative here in Uganda where they are making it. Actually, this is a package for startups. Depends, but either way, what I can say is you don't need too much data to build a model. Going back to the layers that I shared and the techniques I talked about for PEFT, basically you don't need too much information to break the simplicity of anyone who may want to build with such technologies. You could start using the Sandbird API and build with that because it's already Ugandan customized. 3 regions: north, south, east, west, major languages used. How do you use this technology? If you're venturing into chatbot development, why are you building chatbots to always speak English if your border guy is giving you a hard time? Not saying they're not educated or anything like that, but trying to say that imagine if an elderly individual, a zoomer, a boomer, a bloomer, a millennial, how are they going to adapt such technologies in a way that they are built for other target audiences, whereas you already have like Sandbird API, which has simplified life for you. But if you want to take the custom route, still, you can just get a bunch of information if it's legal. Let me say, company, you have a bunch of documents, all your documents. First, train the model. Of course, you have to clean the data before you go that route. DPO alone, that fourth phase, I think sixth or seventh, is a way of actually where you just have statements. Question, reply, question, reply. You can map the Luganda versions with the English versions and then train your model. This is on the DPO. Sorry, this is on the PEFT side when you are doing that neurosurgery. From that step, after doing neurosurgery, you have with your Luganda things, of course, you go further. This is where the QLoRa comes in, or you can even take loft LoRa, which actually betters the model because the point here is to fine tune an already existing model, which cuts the cost in terms of starting from scratch. So the cost being $100 means that you can get a mixture of expertise, fine tune it, not fine tuning in the sense of retraining the whole model, because fine tuning is retraining the whole model on your data, which is costly. Building a base model alone will cost you a bunch of amount of money. But using the techniques said, you end up with developers having systems that they can deploy on their own servers or instances. You could have an office instance, deploy the system there, and then you could more or less call it. That is the other deployment stage. I think I've answered your question.
Yes, you have. And if I'm permitted, I would just like to have just one simple question. Since we have you here, I want to ask for the general public, because we have uh, guys here, we know we have our young siblings and whatnot. What would you advise for a person at university taking on any course to look at? Should we now delve into machine learning? Should we go into data engineering? Because this is where we are going to. Or should we
No,
continue with our normal education, be a doctor, be an engineer, and then study a course about AI differently to a specific domain?
okay. That. Thank you very much for that question. For starters, what I can say, if you've seen Photoshop, it has AI integrated in it. Does it mean that a designer is replaced? No, they are simplifying your work. If you look at the Copilot in Microsoft Suite, does it mean it's replacing you? No, it is fastening your work. If you look at Magic Patterns, if you look at UX Pilot, if you look at, I can go down the chain. The focus here is understand your craft. Use this layer to deliver quality and compete compared to someone who cannot deliver in time. Because if someone can deliver in time, they are of more value than someone who is not. When we come to coding, you have Windsurf in VS Code. Is it replacing the coder? No. It is making it easy for them to write code and not waste time writing from scratch. Rather, have certain blocks, basically write, build the whole application, and then customize, put the human touch, because it goes back to the three principles that I said: 100%, 50%, 0%. The human touch will always be something that we can't erase. The only thing is simplicity in terms of doing work. Somewhere, somehow, there was a meme in line with individuals need to learn how to do nothing, but that's not what it means, because as we gravitate towards true AGI, or a global world model which understands the right principles of physics and can navigate through tools effectively, it will mean that human beings still need to be in the seat to control the tools. This still answers the other question of being an expert who is utilizing this tool. It is a tool just as a car is. You either know how to drive the car or you don't know how to drive the car. Cars have evolved to a point that we have Teslas that are self driven. The cars can't take themselves somewhere, they need a human to go there. Even if we gravitate towards the unison of AI and quantum computing and have the best, this will result into new jobs, just as I've said, resulting into new industries, which will result into new social ways of living. Because the more we reduce on the manual, the more the mental health of burning out. So rather than looking at this as something that is going to replace individuals, no. For the young kids, I would say focus on prompt engineering. Understand what is engineering. Understand the techniques of prompt engineering. Because through those techniques, you can understand how to get the best result out of these tools. Because right now, yes, a lot of people are using them in hiding or whatnot to end up giving wrong results. But for the young, focus on prompt injection. Developers focus on developing solutions that integrate with AI, where the user experience is now limited from interaction to less interaction with the system. I think I've answered your question.
Bruno, are you satisfied with the? I'm sure you're satisfied. So,
Yes, I am very satisfied, and I've just liked the way he has married it with the working class, as the working class. So thank you very much, Dominic, for
yeah, so thank you so much, Dominic. If you're interested in hearing more from Dominic, you could probably share his email in the chat box and you can engage him further to keep sharing these gems. But just before we wrap up, Dominic, if you could just share what the game conference is about just one more time to re-echo this information to our members. How are they going to access these tickets? Where is the event? So just a minute to wrap this up, so that we can close this session.
Thank you very much. Uh, game is happening on the 30th and 31st of October, Munyonyo Resort. It is a 2-day event, which is meant to bring the Silicon Valley minds that you think are too special, but just like you as a human being. It's understanding how to build African native rooted solutions, utilizing technology that, yes, we have not reinvented, but we can use this to improve on awareness, informational access, and also relatability. Game is a home of startups, leaders, because at the end of the day, they make the policies that govern the startups. Investors, these are the ones that pour in the money to make sure that the startups deliver something of value. For practitioners, I'm sure there are some here who have been testing to build solutions. And everyone, I've left out a few, but and everyone. This is technology that is taking us somewhere, like it or not. Enigma was broken, but the dot-com era brought about a global village. AI is going to lead to a a type 1 civilization. You can do research on this aspect, but the conversation is going to start again. And this is not only a conference, but rather action backed conference that results into impact. Tickets, you can find them on our website, www.gameconference.ai. And trust me, it's just the beginning. Thank you.
All right.
Yes,
Thank you
thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Okay.
No, Sabrina, over to you. It's okay.
All right. Thank you so much, McLean. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you joining us tonight. And thank you so much, Dominic, for the knowledge that you've shared. So we are just going to call it a night. If you have more questions, please do let us know, maybe through the game accounts as well, or even Nextcom accounts about state of the digital economy. You can get to us through any Next Communications account. Dominic, if you could please share the email that people can reach out to. Someone is asking on the group, then we can call it night and an evening. Yes, so thank you everyone for joining us. I shared the links to the social media platforms. Just search Game Conference, follow the pages. You will find there a few posts here and there, and share with your friends if you have startups, if you have anyone that is really interested, depending on how we've communicated. So yeah, those are his email addresses. Take a screenshot very quickly because I'll be ending the call in just a few minutes, not even minutes, seconds. Yeah, so I hope you've done that. So thank you for joining us, for giving us your time. This is very, very much appreciated. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Have a good evening. Please take the screenshot one last time before I wrap it up. Good evening.